Y'all come on in. What's up? We gonna finish this up for this third round of the Sith knowledge, the Sith lore, the Sith teachings. So y'all come on in. Come on in. Y'all come on in. What's up, Star? What's up, Diane? What's up, Sherry? Now come on in. What's up, Sean? What's up, K. Haru? Alright, we'll give him another minute, y'all, and we'll get started. Give him one more minute. We're gonna get it in. Alright, let us begin. Now, we back into our Sith teachings one more time. This will be part 3 to the Thought Bomb and the Sith History and Mythos lecture. This time we're going to go deep into the Sith Magick and Sith Alchemy, the Arcanum. You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, just because we still getting this Sith energy grounded properly, I got to tell y'all what the Sith are. What are Sith? The Sith are practitioners and studiers and learners of what we call the dark arts or the Melanin arts, right? Now, the term Sith just simply means life, because to tap into your melanin, to tune into that original dark jazzy intelligence of the cosmos, which we know is source melanin, is life. You see what I'm saying? It is life. It also means to journey, to take a journey through your melanin intelligence, get to know it, build a connection with it, build a relationship with it, so become one with it, so you can eventually become one with it. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about when we talking about the word Sith. Well, historically, where the word Sith come from, it came from the priesthood of Sith, or Soot, the triple dark ash, which is source melanin, the first level of darkness, quantum melanin or antimatter, the second level of darkness, and universal melanin or dark matter, as y'all know it. So those are the triple darkness of ash. You know, universal melanin corresponds to universal melanin, which is the melanin which lives inside of you, because that's the universe, so the soul. So we now know that melanin is also dark soul. You see what I'm saying? That black sun that lives within you. You see what I'm saying? That black intelligence, that dark intelligence, that supreme wisdom that you are already programmed with from the get-go. You see what I'm saying? From the start of this. So, let's begin. Now, what are the Sith about? You know, death and rebirth. You know, immortality. You know, pushing the limits, pushing their limits or pushing through their limitations. What's up, Camlish? Pushing through their limitations, you know. Always finding new ways to tap into the force. That was their sole objective. What's up, Alexis? Always find new ways to tap into the force. That was their sole objective, y'all. That was their game plan. That's what they was all about. There's always a way. There's always something new that I haven't discovered yet. That's what a Sith thought like. There's a rock unturned that I need to go fucking flip over real quick so I can get that information. And have an edge over everybody else. You see what I'm saying? It's about having an edge over the rest of the world. Because if you go to war with somebody or you attack somebody, guess what? If you have an edge over them and you use it as a trump card or even a wild card or even an ace card, then they gonna get fucked up because they ain't gonna see it coming. Which is the supreme law of chaos. Change. You see what I'm saying? The supreme law of chaos is change. Surprise, spontaneity. You see, those are chaotic laws. Those are laws of chaos, laws of melanin. See what I'm saying? Change, spontaneity, and you know, various other aspects of it that you can tap into. And what's up, Margin? And this is what the Sith were about. They were always about this. They was always about finding tapping into as deep as levels that they could, because they know there was always a little bit more. Whereas the Jedi in Star Wars settled. You see what I'm saying? Once they became masters or even grandmasters, they was good. Now the Sith always found a way to stay hungry. You see what I'm saying? Always found a way to stay hungry. You know, there's always more. I ain't got there to. I've gotten there, but I know there's a little bit more than just there. You see what I'm saying? And that there's a little bit more piece of the puzzle that I can refine there into something new. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we're talking about when we're dealing with these Sith. You see what I'm saying? We're dealing with these Sith. So now in Star Wars, they introduce 3 aspects to you. They introduce the kinetic arts, they introduce magic, and they introduce alchemy. Now, what are kinetic arts? The kinetic arts is your ability to manipulate the raw force instantaneously. You see what I'm saying? To alter the environment instantaneously with your will. That can include such abilities as telekinesis, Jedi mind tricks, elemental manipulation, space-time manipulation. You see what I'm saying? Internal body manipulation, like conjuring energy from the cells of your body. and your spirit. You see what I'm saying? Like force lightning, for example. So this is what you got going on. We dealing with that family of abilities known as kinetic arts. Well, there are other levels besides the kinetic arts, which we know as magic and alchemy. Now, when you always hear this word magic, what's up, Courtney? When you always hear this word magic, you know, and you look it up, they always use a particular term to describe magic. They always use the term arcane. A-R-C-A-N-E. So what is this word? Arcane. Now, you look up the word arcane, the Latin word, you know, the original meaning of it, it means secret, hidden, obscure, or rare, you know, mysterious. Now, when we see the word mysterious, what's up, Brandon? When we see the word mysterious, peak game. Whenever you see that term, mystery, know that mystery means my story, or your story, since I'm talking to y'all. So you automatically talking about yourself when you talking about mystery. Now, history is the world story. You see what I'm saying? Or his story as from their perspective. You see what I'm saying? How they perceived it. Or, you know, so history can be manipulated. But my story, my mystery, you know, it can't be manipulated because it comes from within you. They always refer to the Sith magic in Star Wars as an innate ability. What does that mean? That means you have a supernatural connection to the dark side of the Force, or your melanin. You see what I'm saying? You have a supernatural connection to the dark side of the Force and your melanin. This is what they mean by you have this innate ability. So how does Sith, what is magic? You see what I'm saying? When we talk about magic, you know the root word of magic is mom, which is melanin, you know, so you're dealing with dark energy. You're dealing with that dark force. You see what I'm saying? You don't know the power of the dark side, like Vader said. You don't know the power of that melanin. You see what I'm saying? So you're dealing with this melanin. How is magic used, though? It is used in rituals, sacred chants, spell casting, incantation, hand weavings, like y'all see with the ninjas, divine utterance, speaking it into existence. They say verbalism is what they also call it. It's your ability. It's based off the fact that when you say the right words at the right time in the right moment, then you can literally change and alter reality. They say in the book of Sith here, if you study your girl Swords and Sign, see what I'm saying? She talks about Sith magic. Check out what she said, y'all. Check out what she said here when she talk about this Sith magic here. She said, it is not sufficient to simply use Force powers as the Jedi teach. Ritual gives spell casting added power. Memorize the incantations. Speak them with conviction. And weave the invisible lines of power through gesture. And weave the invisible lines of power through gesture. Through this, I have changed the world in ways my teachers never imagined. Oh yeah, this is deep. This is deep. So when we talk about magic, divine utterance, incantations, speaking this shit into existence, or what they call in the Christian world, power of the spoken word. When you learn to use this, you can literally bridge reality and imagination together as one. And once you begin to tap into this realm of magic, because magic is a realm too, a dimension as well, this arcane realm, which is one of the original realms in existence, because melanin is feminine in nature, and the most powerful thing, the most powerful aspect of the feminine is the magical aspect. You see what I'm saying? The magic, the mystery, as they say. So, you know, when you're dealing with that, you're also dealing with the signs of deities as well. But you also are your own deity. So to deal with the signs of deities is to deal with the signs of yourself. You see what I'm saying? Your God self and all your archetypal energies that exist inside you. So let us continue here. Let us continue. Now, a lot of people having a hard time believing that you know, I posted some time ago. What's up, Inanna? What's up, Dorothy? I posted some time ago that dealt with the Force and how if you learn to commune deep enough with it in your meditations, then you learn that the Force can bypass the natural law. or the laws of physics. You know, cause I posed the question with the student and the sensei. The sensei asked about guns and other physical weapons. How can we deal with those? And that's when I answer with, when you learn to commune with the force properly, when you learn to commune deep enough and have that connection with it, strengthen your connection with it, you can literally, you find out that the force can bypass the natural law. And all that's created by even the guns, even these weapons, missiles and tanks and shit. You see what I'm saying? You become a living, breathing apparition. Or what I mean by apparition, you become more soul and spirit than you do man. That's what I mean by that. You see what I'm saying? So you become invisible and invincible to the tank, the gun, the sword, and all the other shit that they talk about, that they love to put their energy into to scare you with. The viruses, all that shit. You protected from all that. You see what I'm saying? Everybody else getting sick because they only focus on their physical selves, whereas you have more. You have access to a limitless source of power, which is the force, the source, and the glow. You see what I'm saying? I posted some time ago that AIM, or the original source energy of existence, is the source. The force is that energy, that is that supreme energy that flows in from and back to the force. I mean, from and back to the source. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the breath of the source. You see what I'm saying? In a way, the cosmic breath. See what I'm saying? And then you got the glow. What is the glow? The glow is the supreme light that's emanated from your soul. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Your soul glow. Just let it shine through, as they used to say. See what I'm saying? What's up, Claudia? So this is what we dealing with. We dealing with the dark side. See what I'm saying? When you tap into that melanin, because you got to go into the darkness of your melanin to bring forth new cosmic light, new cosmic intelligence and frequencies and energies. That's what a lot of my light worker counterparts don't get. They shy away from the darkness because they think it's spooky or scary, and some parts of it is if you ain't ready for it. But if you don't go within the darkness, you can never bring forth new light. And since you never bringing forth new light, then you never doing new things. So you become complacent. You become dogmatic. You become one-track minded. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Diana? So this is what we trying to avoid. When you go into the darkness, you have to sit there and compose new energies, craft new forces from that chaotic void. You see what I'm saying? And you have to push that energy out of the womb of the universe into the physical plane. You see what I'm saying? Grounded into the physical plane. What's up, John Girdle? And that's what this is about. So this is what we're talking about. Magic teaches you how to bridge the gap between reality and imagination, dreaming and consciousness, possibility and probability. You see what I'm saying? That's what magic does. That's what the whole point of magic is about. Let me give you out an example. Because a lot of people have a hard time believing this part because they haven't achieved that level of consciousness. Well, let me check this out. There's a series of spells here, and I'm going to say them and tell me, do you feel anything? This one here is called Bolts of Hatred. And the Sith, in the Sith language, it is pronounced Suta Chwitsu Suta Chwittuskak. You see what I'm saying? Chwittuskak. Suta Chwittuskak. You see what I'm saying? So check this out. Bolts of Hatred. Suta Chwittuskak. You see what I'm saying? And you feel the energy inside of you. If you feel the energy aroused inside of you, that means it's real. But if you used to say that and you feel nothing, then it's not real. You see what I'm saying? Just words on a piece of paper because it has no spirit in it. Spirit is real no matter what aspect of existence it is in. You see what I'm saying? No matter what aspects of existence is in. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Brian? What's up, John? So this is what you got going on. So spirit is real no matter what. What is imagination? Because imagination is nothing but you tapping into your own personal God plane, which connects to the God plane. You see what I'm saying? Your own personal Stargate as well. That allows you to travel to all other dimensions, planes of existences, and realms of existences with your consciousness. You see what I'm saying? In your meditation. So there you go. Here go another one. This one called the Dark Side Web. Odogenia. You see what I'm saying? You should feel that energy. Odoginia, dark side web. Here go another one. This one is to suppress thought. Kazoi Kayantuska. Kazoi Kayantuska. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And then here go another one, to summon demons or daemons or spirits. And this one is pronounced Duomot Siska or Duomot Sitsa. You see what I'm saying? Duomot Siska. You see what I'm saying? So they put your energies in these books. This is all your original teachers that they put in here. See what I'm saying? They got one more here. And this will teach you how to reanimate the dead. You see what I'm saying? Bring motherfuckers back to life. And this one is Asai Winoka Hoyakut, or Asai Winoka Hoyakut, or reanimated dead. And you feel these energies. And they literally showing you scrolls here. You see what I'm saying? Scrolls with these energies. Of course, they had it in the book, but she didn't finish translating it yet. You know how they are. They don't want to give you everything. They just want to give you pieces of the puzzle. You know, they don't. Cause this was, according to the Sith teacher, this was the original puzzle. This is one of the original scrolls. You see what I'm saying? Which the Sith is us. So this is one of our original scrolls. So they ain't gonna give you the whole scroll. You see what I'm saying? They're just gonna give you some of the scroll. So you know, this is what we're talking about. And they said here, words have power. Proof is in the Sith scrolls that I acquired. When read, they release malevolence as a safeguard against those who unlock their secrets. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And here go another one. It says here, Sith spells that require vocalization are written in the Sith tongue, and consequently they must be pronounced as such. You see what I'm saying? Be aware that it is more than recitation. Your inflection must be both precise and passionate. Speak with hesitation, and the spell may hunt you instead. In other words, she's telling you, speak as if your life depended on it. That's basically what she's saying. What's up, Sky? You see what I'm saying? What's up, Sky? Yeah. Spells, however, require time to prepare and recite. You know, so they was not the most properly used during combat. So they often put your wizards on mountains. You see what I'm saying? They put your wizards on mountains. The average fucking occultists live well on a mountain or in a mountain on high, and they hurl curses down from the mountains upon their enemies, upon the legions below, keeping them and using the weight of their curse, because curses have weight, because they're energy. There's dark energy, and they weigh upon you, keeping that weighing down a person, sapping them of their life force, energy, and will. And so when the real warriors come in, fuck them up, they've already lost their spiritual energies, and so now they just hollowed out husks waiting to be killed. See what I'm saying? So this is what our Haitian brothers and sisters did in the Haitian Revolution with Le Overture, Toussaint and his crew. You see what I'm saying? They used their Vodun first, spoke to the spirits first, Ogun to be precise. And it said that when they always give you lore. You see, so they always put in the form of love, but it actually happened. They said they was shooting them motherfuckers, and them motherfuckers was running with their machetes, they indigenous lightsaber. They would shoot them motherfuckers. The bullets they hit them, and they would just keep coming and slice their asses up, and they wouldn't even die. The bullets would just fucking fall back out of them. You see what I'm saying? Or phase through them, and the wounds would heal. Or they shoot them in the head. You think they dead, and they'll reanimate and come back to life. This is your science. This shit, they recorded this, but they tell you that it was fucking legend. That shit was no legend. How is it legend and you have this much description about it? You see what I'm saying? How is it legend and you have this much description about it? Hey, if it was a fucking legend, why you ain't made a movie about the Haitian Revolution? Because it wasn't a legend. That's why they ain't made a movie about it. It was reality. Them Vodun warriors went down there and fucked up the French army and kicked motherfucking Napoleon's ass. You see what I'm saying? Way over here, he whooping everybody else's ass across on the other side of the world, but he couldn't whoop these motherfuckers on this little island called Haiti. They beat the shit out of these motherfuckers with they voodoo, they magic, they machetes, they indigenous lightsabers, and they warrior spirits. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't do shit with them. So the only way they can beat them is through finances. You know, if all else fails, let's turn to economics. If you ever noticed that, we can't beat them politically, we can't beat them militaristically. We gonna turn to fucking economics, and that's when they charge them to the game. See what I'm saying? Gave them that high ass debt, which was a ritual to curse them and destroy Haiti. Peak game. See what I'm saying? They always use number magic to fuck you up, because that's all they know. Number magic and illusionary magic. That's what they masters of. See what I'm saying? They use the numbers as codes. That's why numbers don't never be no regular number like 24,406. It always be 24,000 or 16,000 or 8,000. Those are rituals. You see what I'm saying? The 8 is infinity, but the 3 zeros is the womb in which that infinite force is coming through, because zero just mean void. You see what I'm saying? So they know this. That's why it's always 8,000 or 12,000 or 18,000 or 26,000. It's always precise it's always precise numbers, and that's number magic. That's my art magic that they're using against you. You see what I'm saying? That those numerical frequencies. They say, for example, if it's 6, they need more balance. So they're using the 6, but they got to bring it through the womb, which is the zeros. The womb of the void, the darkness. And so they feed you those numbers and program you and use your energies to empower. That's why, you know, when they were saving the kids, I knew it was kind of a lie. I knew it was bullshit that they were saving kids, because they was precise numbers. How the fuck you raid a building and it's always 2,100? 12,000, 30,000. Why is the number so precise? Why is it not 30,406? Why is it not 12,046? You see what I'm saying? Why is it such a precise fucking number? And those precise numbers are actually codes, numerical codes, or magic that they're using to fuck with, to hack into your subconscious and unconscious mind and put out your energy, and they're using their energy to create their realities. That's what they're doing here. What's up, Nova Demeter? That's what they're doing here. So this was happening when you dealing with this Sith magic. You see what I'm saying? And then, let's see here. They also tell you that spells, the potency of incantation can be enhanced with amulets and runic raiment or clothes. You see what I'm saying? You can enchant your clothes. So let's see what they say about these amulets. You see what I'm saying? These amulets. Let's see. Sith amulets. They said these melee weapons of the Sith are carried by the brute Masasi, but their amulets require more skill. Many among the Cashapp priests wear the baubles around their necks to deepen their links to the dark side of the Force. Minor amulets can create protective shields, knit injured flesh, sharpen battle focus, or energize weakened muscles. However, great amulets are priceless, and often unique. Users must first overcome the amulet's seductive song. You see what I'm saying? So definitely. Yeah, then they tell you some of the amulets here. Of the amulets I've encountered, these are the most powerful. It's called Sith Avatar. Were it not for this relic, I would not have attained such easy mastery of the Sith tongue. The Avatar translates any language spoken or written and attunes its wearer to the maddening chatter of ghosts. That's what that particular amulet do. Let's go another one. The yoke of semen. This golden armature burns the skin, but through illusion it makes the wearer appear as anyone or anything. I had meant to study this treasure before Shoshan stubbornly seized it for itself. Next is the heart of Grosh. The dead king Dr. Grosh replaced his own heart with this fist-sized ruby, which contained the souls of his foes. When paired with the helm of Grosh, the wielder can control the forces of nature. Oh yeah, so they tell you the power of your amulets back in the day. They just write it down and put it in fucking myths and tell you this story and sell it back to you. Sell your story back to you in many different ways. The meditation sphere. This Sith space-going vessel is not an amulet one can grasp or wear. It is an amulet that encompasses its possessor. The arcane geometries of the vessel cabin can amplify the passenger's spell 1,000-fold in every direction. You see what I'm saying? So here go another one. The Myrrh Talisman. Konigsberg requested I create this, but it shall be my triumph. My experimentation with the heart of Grosh and my alchemic mastery of raids and Sith spun will culminate in the great amulet to be worn by one of the lords of the Sith. Its power will transform the feeble-minded into brilliant rat ghouls, whose actions are the result of the wearer's desire. It will also preserve the wearer's spirit should he fall in combat. Though Karnes will receive the first, I will complete more than one amulet. The second will go to Draper, so those two fools can battle the other unceasingly. The third shall be far stronger than the others, and it shall be mine alone. So they telling you what you was capable of. What's up, Joe? They telling you what you was capable of. You see what I'm saying? I showed y'all the Sith scrolls, you know. The Sith scrolls. You see they got a picture in that of the amulets that they just talked about. Let's see. Here go one. One of them. Sith amulets. So they put all this shit in the book, y'all. They put all this in our story. This is our story. Our abilities that they use. They even talked about the holocrons. You see what I'm saying? Sith holocrons. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. Now, this is what a holocron is. This is what it looks like if you ain't never seen one before. This the Sith. And it's a pyramid with a crystal in it. And with the crystals, what's up with these crystals? Why are they always using the crystals? The crystals are frozen consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Frozen crystalline consciousness. And you about to see why. Here we go. Scholars know that a holocron is a box of crystalline lattices, which are capable of housing near infinite amounts of priceless data, just like I told y'all. These matrices can be aligned only through precise and exhausting applications of the Force. A completed holocron can be accessed only by another Force user. To navigate a holocron's secret, one must speak to its gatekeeper, a holographic echo of the device's builder that retains a measure of the builder's spirit. Constructing a holocron can take months, and a single misstep will collapse the device into dust. You see what I'm saying? And the Jedi knew about this as well. Now, the Sith holocrons are pyramidal, not cubical, to replicate the angles of power found not only within Sith tombs, but also within Sith culture. Sounds familiar? Their exteriors are called with hieroglyphics. And stylized figures form a sorcerous seal that casts curses on unworthy seekers. Is this not true? Had these motherfuckers not raided our pyramidal tombs of our ancestors like King Tut, and these motherfuckers had curses inscribed on the fucking tomb, and when they went in there, they got their asses cursed and fucked up. You see what I'm saying? This ain't that new. You see what I'm saying? They say the central crystal is the color of smoke, and it is both a power source and a repository for the gatekeeper's data ghost. You know, that's their residual intelligence that they've programmed to the holocron with their spiritual energy. You see what I'm saying? It said this capstone must be etched with the builder's spirit in a Force ritual called the Rite of Commencement. Destruction of a capstone will release its gatekeeper, and one would be wise to flee rather than face down a vengeful specter. Oh yeah. So they telling you what they about. You see what I'm saying? They telling you what they about when we talk about Sith knowledge. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And then they said here, when a Sith sorcerer speaks, they speak with the voices, or they give power to the voices of 1,000 mages, ancestral mages that came before them. And that's how, when you use your magic and you speak your word into existence, you are using the power of all your ancestral energy inside of you that came before you, which we know is trillions upon trillions of years old. So that's why magic is so powerful, because you study magic and you start to unlock all these repositories of knowledge and wisdom and force energy and power inside of you. And the further you go back into your magical history, the more power you have access to, because you're summoning the power of your ancestral energies inside of you. And when you speak your spells or voices or words into existence, those words not only have your energy in it, it has the power of your ancestors in it as well. And that's why it only take 2 weeks to a month, because to see your manifestations happening on the physical plane, because it's not just your word, it's their word combined with your word. Oh, and don't let it be some you doing something and it's dealing with the creator itself. Now you got your word, your ancestors' word, and the divine word of the creator itself with it. Oh, and that shit may only take a week when it's divine will combined with your creative and personal will and ancestral will as well. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah. This shit get deep, y'all. This shit get deep. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now, the Sith tell you how can you access Sith magic? You know, how can you access it? You know, well, the Sith tell you that there's an energetic barrier inside your mind. You see what I'm saying? And you have to go within yourself in your meditations to break it, to breach it. You either do it that way, or you can write out your own, like something simple like a protection spell or something, you know, a prosperity spell in a composition notebook or whatever. Write it down and you recite it. But you just don't recite it. You recite it like your life depends on it. Like, if I don't write this fucking protection spell and recite it, I could die tomorrow. That should be your thought process. And what you gonna happen is you're gonna feel the explosion of energy in your heart chakra. And depending on how conscious you are, you can even hear the snap. It's a snapping sound that you're gonna hear. That's the energy exploding out of you with that snapping sound you hear in your reality. That's the energy exploding out of you. When you hear that snapping sound, that means you fully reconnected with the realm of magic, or you feel the explosion of energy in your heart, depending on what level of intelligence you on. You see what I'm saying? And when you feel this energy flow through you and out of you, now you know for a fact that this spell work. You just obtain the inner knowing, like, all right, we good, we ready to go. You see what I'm saying? And that's how magic works. And the more powerful the ritual and process and energy and focus you put into it, the more powerful the results. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we talking about when we talk about Sith magic. You see what I'm saying? You know, we talk about Sith talismans and fucking scrolls and crystals. Also, enchantments and hexes as well. You can enchant an object. Like, say for example, I can take this bottle of water and pour my energy into it and enchant it. Or I can do the opposite. I can also put my negative energy into it and curse the water and make it and turn it into a weapon. Whereas the other one, I can turn into a catalyst for healing. I can put my enchantment in it, purify the water, and drink it and heal myself with it. Or I can put my negative energy in it, hex it, and turn it into a weapon and use it as a form of weapon, get somebody else, and that shit will make them feel bad. And depending on how powerful your shit is, it's like a poison in them. They may have to go lay down. They may have to go, you know, this is how powerful this magical shit is. You can alter the reality in ways you never even imagined with your word, with your will, and with your mind and spirit. You see what I'm saying? This is what we telling you. This is what we telling you here. So now, let's continue here. That's what we talking about with this Sith sorcery. You know, I grant you power that only a Sith can motherfucking command. Now, some of the most renowned Sith sorcerers in Star Wars is Naga Sadow, Lord Vitiate, Darth Sidious, Darth Xana, Alima Keto. Naga Sadow once used his Sith sorcery to make a sun go supernova. He blew up a fucking star system. Lord Vitiate once used the Sith ritual to suck up the life force of a whole fucking planet. You see what I'm saying? Darth Sidious once used his Sith magic. He once used his Sith sorcery to fucking that's how he was using his sorcerer's attacks to create his reality so he can conquer the Republic and the fucking Separatists. Darth Xana actually summoned Cthulhu while she was fighting Darth Bane. And you know, I got another one here, Alima Keto, who also did some things with her energy as well. So yeah, that's what we talking about when we talk about this Sith magic. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's what's happening here. when we talk about this. So also, I have a video for y'all. You know, let's see here. I have a video for y'all that talks about Sith Magick. You know, and then we're gonna move on to Sith Alchemy, and we'll wrap it up.
Primary methods of attack: lightsaber combat and the use of dark side force. For a Sith, there were seemingly two primary methods of attack: lightsaber combat and the use of dark side force abilities such as force lightning. But there was another way in which the Sith could manipulate the power of the dark side to bring its full destructive power to bear against their opponents. This was through the use of Sith magic, also known as Sith sorcery, which was an arcane expression of the dark side that traced its origins to the Sith species of Korriban, and predated even the Galactic Republic that was founded roughly 25,000 years before the events of A New Hope. In this video expose, I will describe these origins of Sith magic and explain its dark side power and why it was so feared by the Jedi Order. Having discovered that they could manipulate the power of the dark side, Sith magic was originally developed by the Sith species of Korriban. Particularly, it was the priest class of the ancient Sith, called the Cashapp priests, who would first come to study the nature of the dark side and utilize it in their practices of Sith magic and Sith alchemy, roughly 100,000 years before A New Hope. These priests would come to pioneer and perfect the rituals of Sith magic, where they could call upon the power of the dark side in a way that was not achievable by other sentient individuals. But while Sith magic would originate among the ancient Cashapp priests of Korriban, it was further developed into the destructive expression of the full power of the dark side when the Sith species, including the priests, were conquered and enslaved by the Dark Jedi who'd been exiled from the Jedi Order following their defeat in the 100-Year Darkness, about 6,900 years before A New Hope. It was these Dark Jedi who would amalgamate the magic discovered by the Cashapp priests with their own understanding and mastery of the dark side to create the rituals that would go on to form the basis of Sith magic. Unlike traditional dark side force abilities, Sith magic was not accessible to every individual who was force sensitive. Rather, it could only be utilized by those who acquired and enjoyed a unique intrinsic relationship with the dark side. In fact, those who could truly master the ability of Sith magic were extremely rare. As believed by the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Bane, those who could be said to have a true affinity for the ability of Sith magic was very uncommon, wherein only a few individuals could truly channel the full power of the dark side through Sith magic. This was accepted by Bane upon his concluding that not even he, the prophesied Sithari and the ultimate Sith, was unable to truly use Sith magic to its full potential. Sith magic was a method in which to channel the complete and full destructive power of the dark side, which in many ways was not much different from utilizing the dark side through the more conventional force abilities. The power of Sith magic was obtained by channeling negative emotions, and each new articulation of these emotions would further feed the dark side power, making it stronger and stronger. Given the potential for what felt like the limitless power that was available to these users of the dark side, Sith magic was enticing for those seeking this power, as many users were tempted and compelled to continue their exploration into the realm of Sith magic. Starting around the Great Hyperspace War, roughly 2,000 years after the exiled Dark Jedi started incorporating the magic of the Cashapp priests into their own mastery of the dark side on Korriban, the Sith recognized the potential and effectiveness that their magic could have in warfare. The Sith sorcerers from roughly 5,000 to 1,000 years prior to A New Hope learned to combine their rituals and conventional dark side abilities while engaged in combat, making them extremely dangerous to those who stood in their way. However, there was a fine line for these users between engaging in lightsaber combat and using their Sith magic. Generally, it was very difficult for Sith to cast their spells while defending against incoming lightsaber strikes, or in pushing the attack with their blade work. Sith were often made to concentrate on only one ability side to unleash deadly blasts of dark side energy that would cause mental and physical injury, to dominate an opponent's mind and alter their perceptions, and even force opponents to take actions that they wouldn't otherwise. Those powerful in the methods of Sith magic, such as Darth Bane's apprentice Darth-Sana, could even conjure dark side energy in the form of tendrils that could sever and disintegrate flesh and bone instantly upon contact. Bane had to learn of this sinister attack the hard way. Due to these powerful abilities, the Jedi Order came to greatly fear the magic used by the Sith. Knowing the great power that could be brought to bear against the Order, the Jedi specifically sought out the practitioners of Sith sorcery to initiate the attack against them. They also undertook vigorous actions to try to hide, suppress, or destroy the Sith artifacts that assisted them in their use of magic. Further, to try to reduce the use of Sith magic throughout the galaxy, the Galactic Republic made it illegal to practice it during this period, starting about 4,000 years before the Clone War, and roughly 40 years later, all things connected to the Sith were banned outright. In addition to the legal sanctions, the Jedi authorized their Council of First Knowledge to undertake any means to eradicate the use of Sith magic. Through the Council, the Jedi were able to destroy a large number of Sith artifacts, or otherwise place a number of them under the protection of the Order. Of course, being Sith, these prohibitions were ignored by them, and the practice of Sith magic continued throughout this period. By the later years of the New Sith Wars, and into the reformation of the Sith Order by Bane, roughly 1,000 years before the Clone War, the use of Sith magic was significantly more rare than it had been in the centuries prior. However, the traditions of Sith magic were passed on even within the Rule of Two era, as Bane's apprentice Sana was an active user and immensely powerful in its ways, ensuring that the teaching survived all the way through to the Galactic Civil War among the galaxy's darkside users. So there we have it, the origins and power of Sith magic. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars?
There y'all go. Sith magic. The most powerful expression of the dark side, as they say, or your melanin. Now, let's talk about Sith alchemy. Let's talk about alchemy. Now, alchemy is a little different. You see what I'm saying? There are two aspects to alchemy. You have internal alchemy, and you have external alchemy. Now, with that being said, how does alchemy work? Alchemy is the practice of using your force to create change in both yourself and the physical plane. You see what I'm saying? At a near molecular and anatomical level, right? So that's what Sith magic is, right? So now, Sith alchemy is, my bad. Sith alchemy is. Now, let us begin. What is the basics of alchemy? And, we'll go over, let's go, the 7 stages of alchemy first. Let's do that one first. Let's go over the 7 stages of alchemy. Let's start there, and then we'll work our way around. The 7 stages talk about the process of alchemy. Here we go. Alchemical transformation. Calcination, which is breaking down the ego and attachment to the worldly, and physically or chemically heating a substance over a flame until it turns to ashes. Dissolution, psychologically immersion into the unconscious. The conscious mind releases control, leading to a resurfacing of parts of ourselves that were hidden. Physically, dissolving ashes of substances into water. Next is separation. Spiritually, it reviews the surface material and decides what to separate or integrate. What parts of our shadow can we learn from, and what hinders us? Physically, it's isolating and filtering the products of dissolution. Next is conjunction. Spiritually, it's about merging of the consciousness and the unconscious aspects of the self into a single, unified essence and mind. The union of dualities allows for the true self to emerge. Physically, it's about forming a new substance from the separated elements we choose to keep. Next is fermentation. Spiritually, is about the initiation of spiritual awakening through testing the strength of the solution. To first create wine, grapes must rot. Suffering breeds resilience. That's what fermentation teaches us. Physically, it teaches us that to induce a chemical breakdown of substance with bacteria or other microorganisms. Next is distillation. Spiritually, it's about the purification of the spirit, where we make sure the ego no longer controls us, giving us ability to appreciate the beauty of the collective self. Whereas in distillation, the physical aspects of it, it's about boiling and condensing solution to increase purity. And finally, coagulation. Spiritually, it's about the union of matter and spirit that allows us to perceive the world without dualities and to perceive life on all levels of consciousness, similar to the state of nirvana. The supposed end result is the famed philosopher's stone, or philosopher's tone, or the tone of knowing. Because that's what philosophy means, to know. And finally, the chemical or physical aspect it's a transformation of the liquid into a solid state, solid refined state. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Those are the 7 stages of the alchemical process that leads to alchemical transformation, both spiritually and physically. So now that we got an internal and external workings, let us continue here. What is the basis of these alchemical teachings? Usually they put it in the form of allegories so motherfuckers won't figure this out. Because next to magic, alchemy is the second most powerful shit out there. You see what I'm saying? Or I said they both equally powerful in their own right. How about that? What's up, Black Tony? What's up, Jeremy? What's up, Eddie? So here we go. Now, the first one is transmute lead into gold. Or transmute your human consciousness into God consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Transmuting the base animal instincts and thought process, or the monkey mind, into a super conscious metaphysical God mind. You see what I'm saying? Or as they said, the mastermind in the comic books. You see what I'm saying? Next, transmute mercury into gold, the way they're saying it here is to transmute mercury into gold is to transmute or purify your toxic melanin that has been tainted through all the traumas and pains and suffering that during your first original awakening you go through. The first thing you do is purify your melanin. You purify your melanin, and it transmutes into gold, which is your refined melanin. Remember how before you awoke and the sun used to burn you because of that toxic melanin? You see what I'm saying? But after you went through your awakening process, that chaotic period, which was the purification process, to burn away all those toxins and those base toxins that was distorting your melanin energies. Now your melanin is purified again, and the sun don't burn you. Matter of fact, when the sun hits your body now, it vibrates. You see what I'm saying? It vibrates on you. What's up, Ayami? You see what I'm saying? It vibrates now, and you feel good because now the sun is supercharging you instead of attacking you. You see what I'm saying? That's why they try to block out the sun, because the sun is a weapon against them because they're not awoken. You see what I'm saying? They're not awoken. They hearts and minds and spirits and bodies is fucked up. I don't give a damn how much how healthy you are eating if your inner workings are fucked up. You see what I'm saying? It don't matter. So that's what we got going on here. That's what we got going on. Next is transmute coal into diamonds. Now, you see that you hear this one a lot. Now, transmute coal into diamonds is pretty much like the fermentation process. Through pressure, through suffering, through sacrifice, you transmute that into a diamond, which is transforming yourself into your most refined, pristine state, or what we said, transforming your basic self into your best self, as we said in popular terms these days. This is about transforming your base self into your best self, transforming your basic energies into a more refined, supreme energies. Like when you do something over and over again, you become better at it. And then after a while, not only do you become better at it, you go above and beyond and find new ways of doing it. You see what I'm saying? that finding new ways of doing it is you and your most refined mastermind producing and creating new works of art that you never even knew that was inside of you. See what I'm saying? That's what the transmuting coal into diamonds is. And see, let's see here. And of course, transmute base metals into their most refined, pristine state. You know, that's the outside, that's the outer aspect to the coal to diamonds. You see what I'm saying? The transmuting base metals into their most refined, pristine state. You know, you can take these raw herbs, right? And you can blend them together into an alchemical formula. Or what we call shakes, or that's blending different elements into an alchemical formula. Blends or potions or elixirs or essences, or you can take base parts and build technologies with them. You can take a basic blank page and create drawings and beautiful artworks on them, and the list goes on. You see what I'm saying? You can take a blank piece of paper and write words on it, and those words are lyrics to a song, and you put them to a beat and make that song. You see what I'm saying? Make that music. See what I'm saying? So on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? See, now you see how it worked. Yeah, so that's how it worked there. So those are just a few of the base alchemical processes. Now, let's get into the heavier aspects of alchemy. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now, and in the great words of, here I'm reading from Guide to Essential Force, they got a little chapter here on alchemy that I'm about to read to y'all. Let's see here. Page 173. 173. Let's see here. He go a lesson on alchemy. Sith alchemy by Naga Sadao. He says here, ask me of my heritage, and I shall tell you. Ask me of my ambitions, and you shall know them. Ask me for your hand in battle, and I shall likely lend you both. But ask me the secrets of Sith alchemy, and I will ask you for 3 measures of blood. One from a person you love, one from a person you hate, and one from yourself. A triangle do these measures form, and a powerful triangle it is, so long as your own bloodline is strong with dark side energy, melanin, and not rife with foreign impurities. I just talked about the foreign impurities, those traumas, those blockages, that bullshit that you acquire down here. Why you down here? You see what I'm saying? Causing your melanin to be fucking toxic as hell. See what I'm saying? That's what he mean by foreign impurities. That shit that invades your mind. You see what I'm saying? Like the people who used to invade Jason Voorhees' Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake was his mind. You see what I'm saying? These motherfuckers used to come here, even though they told you not to go there, you was trespassing. So if Jason would do what? Fuck their asses up, because they was invading his realm, his dimension. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Rain? So they was invading his dimension. Well, this is what he's talking about. 3 measures of blood from a person you love, which is light side energy, a person you hate, which is dark side energy, and a person and from yourself, which is neutral energy. You see what I'm saying? So you're talking about polarities. The triangle. You see what I'm saying? The Trinity. You see what I'm saying? The Holy Trinity. You see what I'm saying? Positive, negative, and neutral. The proton, the electron, and the neutron. And I'll show you how to use these. You see what I'm saying? So let's continue. If your bloodline reveals that you are merely a spy or pretender to Sith knowledge, may my words reach out to tear your eyes and tongue from your head, and may you drown in your loved one's blood while your enemies look upon your wretched form and laugh. Oh, he ain't playing there. He issued out a warning for any motherfucker who try to take this knowledge and use it against you. You see what I'm saying? Like our old ancestors did when they fucking put them in the grave. You come into my grave if you want to, you gonna get your ass cursed and fucked up, as we all know. You see what I'm saying? King Tut, perfect example. And the dude who went into his grave and started grave robbing, and his ass ended up in the casket. You see what I'm saying? So, because you have not already succumbed to the defenses that guard this record, I will assume you have already prepared the triangle of blood. Now fill the triangle with the sacred words and brace yourself for death. Because, like I said, the alchemical process requires you to die and be reborn to your new self. You know the sacred words. Welcome, my apprentice. Yes, I shall grant you knowledge despite your imperfections, for you have passed my test, but barely. As you are already aware, Sith alchemy gives one the power to Sith alchemy gives one the power to alter the molecular composition of living beings and reshape inanimate matter. First, you will learn how to construct the equipment required to create such alterations. I will then teach you how to produce weapons and armor that are impervious to all others, and poisons that will convert the noblest of beings to your dark causes. Finally, you will create mutants steeped in the dark side and bound to your will. Let us begin. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about Sith alchemy. And I'm going to give y'all an example of how powerful that shit was. We're going to take the Sith weapons, for example. Let's see here. Let's take the Sith weapons. They got a little chapter on this. And I'm just going to tell you how strong they was. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. The earliest Sith weapons was the Sith sword. When the exiled Jedi first arrived in Sith space, it was with these blades that my ancestors greeted them. The Sith sword is an alchemically altered blade attached to an ordinary sword hilt. We'll get into that in a second. The alteration enables the blade to deflect blaster bolts, just as lightsabers do. The blade also focuses the force energy of the user, giving the edge an unnatural sharpness because it's infused with force energy. As the wielder grows more proficient in the power of the dark side, your melanin, the blade becomes more deadly. Sith swords are effective against lightsabers, not only because of the way they're alchemically altered. Metal refracts the lightsaber energy, but also because they retain their rigidity and sharpness against such energy weapons. And unlike ancient lightsabers, Sith swords do not require power packs or energy cells. You see what I'm saying? And then it goes on here. Although lightsabers are a superior weapon, there's still nothing quite as satisfying as feeling the warm spray of blood when one cleaves through one's enemy with a metal sword. Next, check this out what he said about armor. Armor and talismans can be alchemically treated during construction to tip the scales of battle. Dark armor is almost created to meet the specific needs of the wearer, and generally provides additional protection against blasters and lightsabers, or extra resistance against certain forms of attack. Sith talismans are less restrictive physically and can provide the wearer with an extra defense against blaster bolts, lightsaber blades, and even the Force itself. Goddamn, so they can even block the Force with their shit. You see what I'm saying? Here's what he said about Sith poison. Sith poison, created by means of Sith alchemy, this toxin is more accurately described as a disease. Once in the system of a Force-using being, it remains them, gradually weakening the enemy's resistance to the dark side of the Force, your melanin. Sith poison can be introduced into a victim's system by ingestion, but I make a preference for using a long-range dart for injection. The poison feeds victims' anger, drawing them closer to the dark side. You see what I'm saying? A strong dose can overcome those who have already embraced the dark side. And even the most powerful Sith are usually unable to heal themselves after the poison sets in. Goddamn. This is what we talking about here, y'all. This is what we talking about. This Sith alchemy. You see what I'm saying? Now, check this out. This is what Swords and Science say about Sith alchemy. None of these creatures arise from nature. They are bred for their extreme forms. But breeding has limits, however. It takes generations, whereas alchemy is immediate and forever. Through alchemy, one uses the Force to effect change on the physical, like I told y'all. I was the greatest master of the summoners who fought in 100 years darkness. My inspirations came to me in rumors and dreams, and only now in the minaret of Zyos do I recall it with the call of the Sith all along. Sith alchemists have had ages to perfect their art, and their knowledge is now mine. And here goes an image. A Sith sword is enhanced by submerging it in a trough of blood spilled in anger. Grinding its edge with Svoltin Rhyloid will ensure it never does. Here goes the Sith sword that I was telling y'all about. Right here. That's what it looked like. And on this page here, some motherfucker, from what it looking like, Sith spawn can be grown from any stalk, be it human or Uvarian. Left to their own devices, Sith spawn will breed, and over generations they can transform a world. What if I told you that motherfucker is using Sith lightning to create a soul? You see what I'm saying? See, yeah, we had the power to create souls. Yeah, we were shit. We was that bad. We had the teachers to actually create a soul and incorporate it into a body. You see what I'm saying? That's how bad we was. And spirits. You see what I'm saying? Now, and this is how they said. This is what they said. Sith alchemy is applied to both the living and the non-living. Each is a distinct discipline of study, with the latter being better suited for new apprentices. Alchemy on the non-living is far simpler because there are no living cells to resist you. This science is used to create amulets and enhance weapons. Any object touched with alchemical science will become force sensitive itself, forever retaining a mirror imprint of its forger. Alchemy on the living is suited only for masters. The subject's own force energy will fight you as you twist and shape the host. By recasting the shape again and again, you will get a Leviathan. You talking about some bad motherfuckers we was as ancestors. We was doing shit nobody ever seen before. Hell, even to this day we doing shit nobody has ever seen before. Shit. Even this transmutation period we going through. Don't nobody know what the fuck really going on. Don't let them fool you. They don't really know what the fuck going on. They don't know how this gonna go. Because it's never been done before. You in the Sith alchemy process. You in the lab right now. That's why they call America the wilderness. The wilderness is the lab. You see what I'm saying? That this alchemy is taking place in. So definitely. Hold on here. Did we have a picture of let me see here. Don't we have a picture of it? Here go another picture of the thought bombs that I was telling, that I just did a lecture on not too long ago. Oh yeah, it's real. Your black dot, goddamn it. Your black dot. You telling me they don't know about it? Oh, they know about it, goddamn it. They know about it. Shit. Let me see here. Here we go. Here go an image of some of the Sith armor that they wore. You see what I'm saying? The Sith armor. Alchemically made. You see what I'm saying? To do amazing things. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. The war against the Jedi birthed the great advances in personal combat on both sides. Armorers constantly improved their wares by lightsaber technology, but lightsaber technology remained constant. By the war's end, a fully armored Jedi Padawan could face a Sith Marauder and survive the first exchange. Damn. Donning armor requires understanding two things: how to kill an armored opponent and how to use armor to protect yourself from counterattack. The first comes from combat training. The second requires an understanding of the material that can withstand a lightsaber blow, while still allowing some measure of mobility for the wearer. If you are accustomed to unarmored sparring, it is best to begin with armor weave. This material incorporates a lightweight metallic mesh while maintaining the flexibility of cloth. Armor weave can be arranged to form pieces of fabric, armor, or it can be worn as a cloak. It will guard against acids and flame. It can diffuse the energy of blaster bolts, though not their kinetic impact. A lightsaber point can burn through armor weave, but it will allow you to shrug off glancing blows made with the blade's edge. Then you got Beskar Kandor. It's plate armor. Cast from Mandalorian iron. Although it is nearly impervious to a lightsaber blade, it is extremely heavy and requires the wearer to rely on a strong style or Jinso combat stance. Let's see here. The Dark Armor, or Lord Eradicate Squire to Darth Ruin. Unique to the Sith is Dark Armor. Plate armor that is infused, or carbon armor as y'all can say. Plate armor that is infused with a dark side essence through Sith alchemy. You see what I'm saying? And they call that process damn, what they call it? It's a process. Meru Detchu Vitae. Whereas, you building, you harnessing technology, but you infusing your melanin or the dark energies into it. I think I said it right. Meru Detchu or Meru Detru, some way like that. These suits, once rare, poured from the workshop of Sith armorers during the last war. Many became prizes for battlefield scavengers. Dark armor can almost certainly be found among the dark markers of the underworld. If one is discovered, it should be reclaimed, and those who seek to profit from our legacy should be eliminated. And then you have Orbalists, which is a whole other shit there. Like, them motherfuckers learn how to use, check out what he said. They learn how to use like different beings or animals, and they crafted armor from the animals, and the animals themselves and parasites and shit could leech onto the body and goddamn give them power in return for them using their force. You see what I'm saying? So check this out. The shells of orbitals are quite impervious to lightsabers that can make a fine coat of armor. I myself have tested this bizarre panoply. These parasites breed in the tombs of Disum. If placed on the skin, they latch on, feeding on force energy and releasing adrenaline. Once attached, their bodies can almost never be removed. The protection offered by armor can be augmented with a shield held in your offhand. A shield of polished beskar can also be used as a bashing weapon. Its edges can be honed to razor sharpness and can be used to slice or kill. This is what we talking about here, y'all. These motherfuckers got our shit, and they just going to work with it. You see what I'm saying? There you go, Ryan, like Alta Carbon, like they just enhancing your sleeves, and they using it, and then they give you advanced technological armor and shit to put on. Oh yeah, these motherfuckers know our shit. These motherfuckers know our shit. Now then, let's talk about the science of creating life, the midichlorians, your internal alchemy. Check out this from Darth Plagueis here. Check out what he said. What is the Force? Jedi say it's created by life, but I say the Force creates life, which it does. The Force itself creates life. You see what I'm saying? Because all life has Force energy or spirit energy inside it, right? So the Force creates life. He says it's a simple deduction, an obvious conclusion when supported by structured experimentation. You see what I'm saying? And and then he shows the ass backwardness of the two realms of religion and science. He said, a scientific understanding of the Force is not the same as the memorization of incantations. Science seeks to understand the principle behind a reaction, not merely how to replicate it, particularly when the formulas for the reactions are bloated with centuries of empty ornamentation. Now check out what he said. Yet consider this. The galaxy's leading scientific minds are largely ignorant of the Force, and the galaxy's most skilled Force users reject science. The latter are caught up in romantic mysticism, convinced they have been called by a higher power. The former has no excuse. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And he then said, to study alchemy, one must strip away its rhyming phrases and its perverse obsession with blood sacrifice. I'm telling you. To study a shamanistic talisman, one must look beyond the words of invocation. When a talisman unleashes its power, what is the true trigger? The words, the speaker's tone, his mental state. If a talisman's power resides inside the gem, what will happen if a fragment is shaved off? Then another. Does the energy dissipate when sufficient mass is lost? Is the ratio consistent for similar gems and similar talismans? The Sith of old never asked these questions, for tradition and obedience extinguish their spark of curiosities. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Tasha? And these questions are much more than idle speculation. My science will remove everything superfluous, superficial. In this way, the true nature of the fundamental elements that the Jedi and the Sith wield so casually will be revealed. Oh, he was a bad motherfucker, y'all. He was a bad motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? He said, my ultimate goal is the secret of life. That life gives us consciousness, for without consciousness, each of us is nothing. Through science, I will create new life and sustain my own. There's no reason why Darth Plagueis could not live forever. He's a bad motherfucker for real, though. And he said, like he said, life that gives us consciousness, for without consciousness, each of us is nothing. Of course, without consciousness, without awareness, each of us is nothing. Hey, we see that every day with the masses. Look how much they struggling without their consciousness, without their awareness. Look how much we go through some shit, but we can bounce back due to us tuning into our souls and spirits and regenerating. Them motherfuckers ain't got nothing to fall back on. They ain't got no spiritual insurance, or no soul insurance to fall back on. You see what I'm saying? So check this out. Influence in the midichlorians. The Force is found throughout the universe, not only in living things. Everything in existence that draws upon various aspects of the energy we call the Force may be classified into 3 categories. Now, midichlorians in our world are known as bosons and gluons. Those invisible particles, and Higgs bosons as well. Those invisible particles that supercharge the Force, carry the Force's will, its intelligence and actions all throughout the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? So now, you have three categories. Let me read this again. The force is found throughout the universe, not only in living things. Everything in existence draws upon various aspects of the energy we call the force. May be classified into three categories. These three categories are this. The Empyrean includes and unites all matter, giving it shape and cohesion. Aspects of the Empyrean include gravity and electromagnetism, weak force and strong force. Though the term encompasses everything in both space and time, many of the abilities understood as belonging to the unifying force are tied to the Empyrean. What is that? Those are all the mental abilities, the Jedi mind tricks, all the psychic techniques you can use, clairvoyance, hypnosis, clairaudience, psychic smell, psychic taste. All those abilities are part of the unifying force, the Empyrean. You tap into the dark cosmic consciousness of the universe to access those abilities. You see what I'm saying? Next is the anima. The anima gives life, but not thought, to animals, plants, and other living beings. Midichlorians are responsible for inducing and sustaining anima in almost all species. Many of the living force abilities are tied to the anima. Now, living force. Those are your elements. Those are the time-space techniques. Those are telekinesis. Those are your storms and the rivers flowing and the volcanoes erupting and all those elemental events that you see. You see what I'm saying? All around you. See what I'm saying? That's the living force. Even when you walking in the now, in this moment right now is the living force because we are experiencing it in the present. You see what I'm saying? This is the living force. But once I get done, it will become a memory and join the unified force, the galactic, the intergalactic, interdimensional, and intercelestial of Cashapp records. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Of all things, which is the Empyrean, as he states. Now, next is the pneuma, which is the expression of conscious thought. Thinking, self-aware minds contribute to the collective pneuma, which is accessed by many naturally telepathic species, as well as by the various mind tricks of the Jedi and the Sith. Now, what does he mean by that? The pneuma, the essence of conscious thought, your ability to be sentient, your ability to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? That's what awareness is. Awareness is simply your ability to figure it out, to pick up on something, using your sensory perception to pick up on something both inside you and outside you. You see what I'm saying? And when you do this, you figure it out. The more you tap into it, the more you become conscious of it. Because awareness precedes consciousness. Consciousness precedes superconsciousness. But before awareness, there's subconscious and unconscious. You see what I'm saying? So awareness is what bridges the gaps between the four fields. Unconscious and subconscious, then awareness. Conscious and then superconscious. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. Let's see. He then goes on to say these fundamental forces would exist even without midichlorians. However, midichlorians are the beneficiaries of an unusually strong connection to all forms of physical and psychic energy. He just saying that they are the inheritors of an unusually strong connection to all forms of physical and psychic energy. The anatomical quantum inheritors of all the intelligence in the universe. So, if you was to go to the Cashapp records right now, talking about the real Cashapp records, them motherfuckers would look like souls. They would look like sparks. You see what I'm saying? The intelligence, the Akasha, them will look like sparks because you are dealing with quantum intelligence when you're dealing with the midichlorians. You see what I'm saying? They are literally what glues the nucleus of an atom together. You see what I'm saying? That invisible force. They even speak about in quantum physics. There's an invisible force and invisible hands that glues the nucleus of an atom together. That's the force. You see what I'm saying? That they're talking about. That's what midichlorians are. You see what I'm saying? So without this glue, nothing in fucking existence would exist. And that's why the force is known as the great animator. You see what I'm saying? The great animator. Now, let us continue. Because the midichlorians inhabit living cells, the host organisms is able to draw upon this connection. Midichlorians are endosymbiotes. They die when their host dies, and no host can live if completely purged the midichlorians. What we seen is that? Oh, the movie Venom. Yes, we did. Fucking Venom or what they call it, the black goo that Venom was made of. They called it, but they referenced it as an endosymbiote. It was an endosymbiote, but it was a black goo that latched onto you, and when you die, it has a limited amount of time to find another host before it dies. You see what I'm saying? Which, you know, we all know the venom was the melanin. You see what I'm saying? But infused in your melanin, your melanocytes, is these midichlorians, these bosons and gluons, these elementary particles, these elementary intelligence that fuses and blends the physical world and our physical cells with the spiritual world, or the spiritual cells, which we know as midichlorians. You see what I'm saying? It brings it all. It bridges the gaps. They work as endosobians, bridging the gap. You know, creating that intelligence between us, the physical, and the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're able to communicate with the spiritual, like Qui-Gon Jinn said in the Phantom Menace. They give us our ability to communicate with the Force, is what he said. Now, this is what the three realms look like. The Empyrean, which is the top here. You know, the Anima, which is here, the living force. You know, the Empyrean is the pleroma, the primordial energies. The Anima is the living force, the natural energies that you see every day and that you tap into every day. And finally, the Pneuma, which is your own consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Your own personal individual consciousness and the consciousness of existence. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Those are the three aspects of existence. And he says in here, the visible biology of the cell and its midichlorians is a product of the invisible interactions of the Empyrean, Anima, and Pneuma. So all these work together. It's one big thing. That's why it's a circle within a triangle, or a triangle within a circle. Yeah, a triangle, then a circle, then another triangle. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? A triangle in a circle. They tell you about the circle and the square, but they don't tell you about the triangle and the circle. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So he continues on. All living things, regardless of their planet of origin, appear to possess midichlorians, or complementary biological structures. The reason for this isomorphism are unknown, but the results of my experience into abiogenesis have shifted my present focus significantly. Of considerable interest is the fact that while most cellular organelles generate chemical energy, midichlorians generate force energy. Damn. So your cells generate chemical energy, and midichlorians generate force energy, or spirit energy, however you like to say it. They also appear to possess a singular, unified consciousness linked via the Pneuma, your natural conscious thought, and can be influenced by the host's mental state. But in particular, negative emotions such as the loss of hope can induce cellular necrosis, or cellular entropy, or degradation. So your cells can begin to degenerate when you are in a prolonged mental state of sadness, depression. That's why most people, when you look at them, they sad all the time, depressed all the time. They're like they're starting to break down, because your cells are programmed to listen to the most powerful emotion, or the dominant emotion at that time, because the emotion is energy in motion, or the dominant feeling at that time, the dominant actions of your feelings at that time. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Typical blood concentration is around 2,500 midichlorians per cell. Cutting this concentration in half will usually induce death. I conclude that force energy is required for life, and that midichlorians are its biological vector. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So there you go. So you got so he telling you what it is. He gave you the game here. You see what I'm saying? Jedi and Sith have high midichlorian counts at the moments of their birth. Breeding between two force-sensitive parents is an option, as the parents generally result in force-sensitive offspring, which we already know, which is why our ancestors used to get the most powerful wizards and warriors and shit together, and they used to have them breed, because they used to produce more powerful warriors and wizards and scientists. You see what I'm saying? So now you understand the science of breeding. On the other hand, genetic defects have been a concern since the inbreeding among the warriors of Vajun during their mad chase for extraordinary powers. A simple blood transfusion is the obvious answer, but I have found that the subject's native midichlorians will reject the influx of foreign cells. That's why when they give you blood, they don't give you blood to heal you. They give you blood to jumpstart your own blood. You see what I'm saying? To recharge your cells. But eventually, your cells is gonna kill the foreign cells because they don't belong in this system. You see what I'm saying? Your body is a system. Your body is a universe. So when those cells, those spaceships known as your cells, invade your universe, your natural white blood cells, as they call them, your natural fucking starships, your military inside you is gonna go to war with them and fuck them up eventually. And so that's why blood transfusion is a temporary process. You see what I'm saying? Just to jumpstart your own cells. You see what I'm saying? Cause don't nothing invigorate the body like the thought of war. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, we about to go to war? Let me get prepared. You know, that instant fucking realization that shit about to pop off unlocks that flight or fight response and activates your adrenaline, which is the hidden chemical in your body, and you begin to snap and go to war. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the blood transfusions do. They help unlock that adrenaline in your body, which keeps you alive longer. You see what I'm saying? So that's what they got going on here. You see what I'm saying? So let's see here. And he teaches you how to conquer or manipulate your midichlorians inside you. He said, perpetual life. The solution, therefore, is not to introduce new midichlorians, but to impose one's will on the midichlorians already present in the subject. This can be done through the energy of the pneuma, your conscious thought. Just as a warrior in peak condition can lift a heavy weight, so can someone with a sharpened mental focus and an affinity for the force achieve a measurable effect on living cells. In other words, you can impose your will, your conscious will and thought on living cell and cause a reaction. That's basically what he's saying. Let's see here. Check this out. I began with experiments on scurriers and other small creatures. I used my will amplified through my body's own midichlorians to override the lesser concentrated midichlorian voices in a test subject. This proved more challenging than I predicted because midichlorians are linked by a universal mind. The ones in my own cells seem to resist its imposition upon their fellows. But eventually I succeeded, first with small creatures, then with slaves purchased from the huts. I forced the midichlorians to override their natural life cycles. What I discovered is that these midichlorians would not die. Instead, they drew upon sustaining force energy, which acted on a microscopic level to halt tissue decay in their hosts, putting an end to aging and disease. He just told you how to fucking conquer. he just told you the secret to immortality. He just literally said, check out what he said. What I discovered is that these midichlorians would not die. Instead, they drew upon sustaining force energy, which acted on a microscopic level to halt tissue decay in their host, putting an end to aging and disease. So the only reason you die is because we've been taught to teach ourselves to die. That's basically what he's saying here. You see what I'm saying? And he just went in there, programmed the midichlorians to override their natural life cycles or override the concept of death. You see what I'm saying? And when he did this, he broke the natural law because the force, like I told y'all, the force can bypass the natural law with enough will, communication, and conscious thought. Oh yeah, that's a bad motherfucker, y'all. That's a bad motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? He even said this in a little quote here. Check out what he said here. Check out what my boy said here. He said, let's see here. Let me go up here. He said, to say that the force works in mysterious ways is to admit one's ignorance. For any mystery can be solved through the application of knowledge and unrelenting effort. Let me read that one more time. To say that the force works in mysterious ways is to admit one's ignorance. For any mystery can be solved through the application of knowledge and unrelenting effort. So he basically telling you how to do this. He basically telling you how to live forever. You see what I'm saying? So he continues here. You see what I'm saying? My experiments prove midichlorians could be controlled. If this is true, then could they not also be induced to create life at the monocellular level? Midichlorians in the cells of a mother could in theory be persuaded to create a zygote. you know, which is the little fetus that's activated when she becomes pregnant. You see what I'm saying? With the sperm. You see what I'm saying? So, let's see here. He then goes on and said here, if new life could be created where none existed before, the living could sustain their bodies indefinitely. Science has led to these conclusions, yet these secrets must be guarded with utmost care. For now, it remains purely theoretical. You see what I'm saying? He says here, life is not mystical. You see what I'm saying? The common sense of the word. You know, mystical just means, the root word of mystical means mist, you know, just a shroud. You know, when you break that mist, you enter the scientific realm. But it's occult science, spiritual science. Science and spiritual, science and spirit work hand in hand with each other. Logic and reason. You see what I'm saying? Works hand in hand with intuition and spirituality. You see what I'm saying? Most people don't want to hear that shit. It's either you a mystic or you're a fucking scientist. But you can't be both. But you are both. Don't you got a left and right hemisphere that does both? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So who the fuck are they that said, you know, that this is the way it is? Let's see here. He then goes on to say this. My work with midichlorians is rooted in what is traditionally considered the living force, or those energies attached to the anima and the pneuma. The unifying force or the Aperion is not specifically necessary for the creation and manipulation of life, but midichlorians channel it nonetheless. As I look at the force in a new light, I have found new applications for these omnipresent states. The Aperion governs the cohesion of matter, from the atoms of a pebble to all planets and gravity in the universe. This includes the dimension of time. Due to Aperion, space-time may be manipulated on a grand scale, which is what I told y'all, right? And I'll tell y'all that. That is, if a user channels sufficient energy through his aggregate, his apparatus, midichlorians, while maintaining focus and accuracy. So you gotta focus enough energy in your mind, body, spirit, and soul to fully channel your midichlorians through this energy, which we know is space and time, to manipulate. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And your midichlorians, your spirit, your intention overrides what we call time, the energies of what we know is time and space, and they come under your control. And you can actually preserve yourself longer. You see what I'm saying? The force sustains you. And we're going to go over that later on. We're going to break this down in a whole other lecture by itself. I believe an individual could step instantly from one place to another by folding space, regardless of the intervening distance. Similarly, one could be able to fold time, not to temporarily displace a physical object, but to shift one's consciousness backward and forward, along time's flow. The backwards process is retrovoyance, and the forward process of looking into the future is clairvoyance. Such a thing will permit the study of all knowledge through history, even the secrets recorded in the long library of civilization. You see what I'm saying? The anima governs life, and it is through this state that force healing is possible. But to sever the force, that is something rare. To sever the force is to trigger a mass die-off of a victim's midichlorians. Not enough to kill, but to take a Jedi's power. It could be that the Jedi of old knew this feat, but if so, they did not understand its underpinnings. Severing the force is the inverse of what I have done when inducing midichlorians to create life. It is far easier to achieve. So you can sever off somebody's ability to connect with the force, which is what they're doing with these kids, these Star Troopers. They're trying to hunt them down and fucking attack them and sever their connection to the force before they find out that they have a connection to the force, or they figure out what it is and come into their consciousness. You see what I'm saying? That's what this is about. So it's about severing your connection to the force and causing that mass die of midichlorians inside of you with torture and rape and blood sacrifice and all the other crazy shit, and exposing kids to all type of horrifying shit at such a young age, to scare them and keep them in fear, and to shut down their spirituality. See, now y'all understand why they do this. You see what I'm saying? They shutting down their spirits and soul when they do this. They causing this. This is a science. You see what I'm saying? It's called force severing. You see what I'm saying? Severing you from your spiritual nature. You see what I'm saying? Before you come into your spiritual nature. See, they gotta do it before you become conscious, because once you become conscious, a veil or tent or a shield or a force field is then brought up around you to protect you, so they can't penetrate your force shield. Only if you willingly allow them into your force field can they come into your force field. You see what I'm saying? So they have to trick you into fucking yourself over for the most part. You see what I'm saying? They have to trick you into this process. So that's what all the propaganda is about. That's what all this QAnon shit is about. They got a Jedi mind trick you into believing that they doing good. But we have no proof that they doing good. It's all hearsay. For the most part. We think they doing good, which is the problem. We think they doing good. That's the trick. That's the Jedi mind trick. We are up under the illusion that they are doing good when we don't have a fucking clue what the fuck they are doing. You see what I'm saying? And that's a part of the signs of force severing. You see what I'm saying? Sever their connection through spirit. Shut that shit down by any means necessary. And how do we do that? Propaganda, torture, rape. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Pain, suffering, sacrifice, trauma. You see what I'm saying? Put these motherfuckers in a field or state or of survival where they never focus on their spiritual selves. And the less they focus on their spiritual selves, the more physical and dense they become, and the easier it is for us to attack them. That's what that's about. You see what I'm saying? So let us continue. So there y'all go. That's how they doing this. The pneuma, which is your conscious thought, governs consciousness. You see what I'm saying? The pneuma, the idea of consciousness or awareness, you see what I'm saying? The ability to be aware governs consciousness. Through this, I am convinced that the energy pattern we know as self-awareness can be preserved and imprinted a second time into the neural pathways of a different brain. This process will be simplest with a clone body. Oh, so now we're talking about cloning. That is identical to the subject's own. This process will be simplest with a clone body that is identical to the subject's own. Though in theory, any advanced biological form would prove sufficient. Body swapping or body snatching, as we know of this nature, is riskier than simply sustaining one's own life through midichlorian manipulation. In dire emergency, however, it could serve as an escape against oblivion. You see what I'm saying? And the ability they use to escape is called essence transfer, where they transfer their consciousness to a new sleeve, like they showed you in Alter Carbon. You see what I'm saying? The original body and the clone host identical brain structure facilitates thought transfer. Here we go. You see what I'm saying? An identical pattern can link up with another identical signature that's created in a tube, and you can transfer your consciousness to this consciousness and it will actually work, which is the science of cloning. You see what I'm saying? This is why they clone. You see what I'm saying? Now we get into this transcending death, the act of transferring consciousness between bodies. Oh yeah, this Sith alchemy at its finest. Don't think otherwise. Oh, this straight Sith alchemy, god damn it. this straight Sith alchemy here. You see what I'm saying? So, transcending death. Let's see here. Okay, we good. Transcending death. The act of transferring consciousness between bodies touches on a subject that still troubles me. The pattern that defines each mind can be stored in the pneuma field, the conscious field, but these patterns degrade almost instantly if they are not anchored in a new biological form. The speed of this degradation is so rapid that it seems to render the argument for life after death moot. But yet I have always been one to follow the evidence. All beings are afraid of oblivion. Every culture has written fables to assure themselves that death is not the end. Even the Jedi do this. Through midichlorians, they believe they have a connection to the universe's fundamental energies that others do not. Therefore, I am reluctant to dismiss their histories too rapidly. During the Great Civil War, Jedi combatants were said to have vanished at the moment of their deaths. with the cells of their bodies sublimating into energy. It must be noted that although I have witnessed the death of Jedi, I have never witnessed this phenomenon. This is their ability to preserve their consciousness after death. You see what I'm saying? What they call Force Ghosts in Star Wars. You see what I'm saying? Some of these Jedi were said to have returned as pure consciousness, communicating specific and verifiable information to the living. Ghost stories are common. They are laughable, but the phenomenon leads me to believe that such a thing is possible. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. He says here, how mental paths persist beyond our physical minds remains an enigma. Thought can degrade into randomness in less than a minute. To hold awareness longer than that and to appear to others in the physical world while retaining both visual and auditory aspects is a remarkable feat if true. How is this even possible? If you have housed or stored up enough spiritual energy, both yin and yang chi fused together as one singular consciousness inside of your body and stored up in your dantines, then when you die, you become a force ghost, a living spirit. I know this because I've actually experienced this. When I died a few years ago, you know, I had this experience. I choked on a piece of fish once. And I died a few years ago, and my spirit just popped out of my body. And at this point, I had been studying all this spiritual shit, and you know, I've been doing the work and stored up my chi, and I just popped out of my body. But when I looked at my body, I was a full-fledged spirit that had learned how to preserve his consciousness as a force ghost because I had learned how to store up my energy. And so I had a full-fledged spiritual body when I died. You see what I'm saying? So when I got kicked out of my body for a temporary time period, I was like, well, damn, I felt no pain, no nothing. But I was on the other side, and it just literally said in my consciousness, just read up on my consciousness, the ancestral realm. It literally said that. And I was like, well, damn, you know, damn. So this shit is real. And I was like, but wait a minute, I fell asleep. Because not only do your thoughts not descend and degenerate into randomness, you actually have the same thought process you had when you was alive. So I was like, wait a minute, I died. I was asleep just now. So what the fuck is going on? So I realized, oh shit, I'm dead. But how the fuck I die? So I literally hacked into my right arm here and I just slapped myself awake and I choked up the fucking goddamn piece of fish and woke up. Goddamn, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, so yeah, you can die from anything. But that was an experience I had to have to let y'all know that death is real. And you can preserve your consciousness after life. And you do have a full-fledged spiritual body and consciousness if you learn to preserve your life energies inside of your body. So yes, that's actually a real science. Tried and proven by yours truly. So yeah. So there you go. I think that's pretty much it. You know, he talked about Sith spirits, but I just told y'all how to develop a Sith spirit. You know how to develop your spirit and preserve it after life, or also known as Force Ghost to Jedi. So there y'all go. That's basically Sith alchemy. You see what I'm saying? Learning to refine yourself to your most refined state. Spirit, internal alchemy is learn to take your base material self and refine it to its highest qualities, so much so that you affect yourself both in the living and both here in the living realm and after you drop this vessel and die in the spiritual realm. You see what I'm saying? So that's spiritual internal alchemy. Physical alchemy is actually you can learn to preserve this apparatus for as long as you want to. You know, there were stories of the Buddha who could meditate and preserve his energies through force sustainment for so long that when he woke up, you know, he preserved himself for about 250 to 300 years. You know, motherfuckers can just do that. You see what I'm saying? And because the body designed to live for 1,000 years. I want y'all to know that. It's designed to live for 1,000 years. You see what I'm saying? You dying at 60 and 70, you only living 67% of your life. You see what I'm saying? But the force or the source sustain you, especially if you down here doing work. You see what I'm saying? To change this shit. So we're going to get into that more. We're going to get into that science of life after death and force sustainment later. You see what I'm saying? But I just want to introduce the concepts of Sith magic and Sith alchemy in this particular lecture. You see what I'm saying? The power to alter your molecular composition both inside you and around you to create and do and destroy as much as you want with your thought, mind, will, and spirit. You see what I'm saying? So there y'all go. Any questions? Any questions? We'll wrap it up there. Any questions? Any questions before I get up out of here? There y'all go. That's Sith Magick and Sith Alchemy. Pretty much in a nutshell. Yeah, I think I had did I have a video for y'all? Hold on. I think I had a video for y'all for Sith Alchemy. Hold on, before we wrap this up. Did I have a video for y'all? Let me see here. Let me check. Before I end this. Oh, I did have a video for y'all. Oh, let's see what they got to say.
We all know Darth Plagueis was able to manipulate midichlorians to create life, leading to him being the speculated father of Anakin Skywalker. This opens up a topic many haven't explored, and that is the ancient art of Sith alchemy, which is what we will cover in today's episode of Star Wars Theory. Hello everyone, and welcome. One of the most diligently held beliefs of the Sith is that if the power is great enough, one can enforce their will on all things, reshaping physical matter as they see fit. Although once a cornerstone of the ancient Sith Empire, the arts of Sith alchemy are all but forgotten by the time Palpatine comes to power. Still, there exist relics of the ancient Sith that can instruct one who is daring enough to seek them out, and willing enough to plumb to the depths of such dark knowledge. Force alchemy, or better known as Sith alchemy, was a science that referred to a number of areas under the Sith. It encompassed any power of techniques which used the dark side of the Force to permanently alter an item or living being. If you've ever played the game Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, you know about alchemy and how you can increase the strength of your spells, items, weapons, and armor through such practices. Sith alchemy was primarily used to enhance the strength of weapons and armor, such as the famous Sith swords, which I would love to cover in another video, or to genetically engineer and enhance alien species, such as Sith war behemoths, a Sith war worm, and a chrysalid rancor, to name a few, making them more dangerous and easier to control by Sith lords. And much more serious and dark matters, Sith alchemy was capable of waking the dead in servitude to the Sith. This is much how Mother Talzin resurrects her son Darth Maul, as she was a master of Sith alchemy and magic. Darth Plagueis was a master of this dark art. His later apprentice, the powerful Darth Sidious, as we all know, later wrote a book about Sith alchemy entitled The Creation of Monsters, and was responsible for the creation of such monstrosities as shadow droids and chrysalid beasts. He claimed that Darth Vader was partially an alchemical creation, and how he may have also utilized the mask ability to hide his true, corrupted features. So, Vader may have actually been more disfigured and disgusting than we originally saw. Darth Sidious also created Chronal, who he called as a prophet of the dark side, and while others called him Sidious's monster. I mention Chronal because he created an augmented helmet that when worn would magnify, strengthen, and boost his dark side powers to an overwhelming degree, as well as also allowing him to draw on the force abilities of other force sensitives who were referred to as pawns, just like in a game of chess. Sith sorcery was described as the full destructive power of the dark side of the Force. Its power was drawn from negative emotions and grew stronger and more corrupting with each added dark thought. When the Dark Jedi exiles of the 100-Year Darkness found Korriban and conquered the Sith people, later generations who used Sith dark magic while in combat with Jedi found it to be very difficult to stay focused if fighting with a lightsaber at the same time. Only beings of considerable strength of will were able to resist its psychological effects, such as Plagueis and Sidious. During practice, a Sith sorcerer's concentration was able to be interrupted by Force users skilled in battle meditation, and their magical creations could be undone by the purity of the light side of the Force.
everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment below regarding Sith Alchemy and what your thoughts on it are. Make sure to join the Facebook page in the description, as the contest giveaway is under 2 weeks away, and there are a lot of behind the scenes posts.
There y'all go. Prominent Sith alchemist, Darth Plagueis, Swords of Sign, Naga Sadal again, Darth Sidious, and there was one more. I can't think of his name right now. Who was a badass with the Sith alchemy. I can't think of his name. Oh well, those are a few. So there y'all go. Go your little video. Like he said, you can genetically alter anything, even yourself, with Sith alchemy. Because it's the practice of altering your molecular composition. So there y'all go. I'm Marvin Jones. Y'all put the word out. Share this with your friends. Check out my other cult lectures on Melanin order. You know, you can donate if you want to. And my Cashapp, mcjnetwork. And I'm out. Peace.